Oh, Metroidvania, the genre that accompanied me throughout my whole life. If I need a break from sucking at online FPS,
Das kann nicht sein!
getting stomped by a Souls boss, or even playing League of Legends. There's no punchline here, it's just League in general. Well then, I pick up a Metroidvania. Challenging fights and exploring the world for upgrades until you finally get that godforsaken chest that has been on your mind for the last 10 hours. To me, this is the definition of comfort gaming. So when I noticed MomoGames posting some very colorful and beautiful pixel art gameplays of their first game FlipWitch, I knew I had to check it out. But is it actually worth playing? We're gonna find out soon. Roll the intro. In FlipWitch, you play as the apprentice of an elder witch, sent out to defeat an evil being that, although not immediately apparent, is bringing this world into chaos. You might start off as an average witch, but very soon you'll learn a forbidden spell that is also implied by the game's title, a spell that lets you change your sex. The main premise of FlipWitch is to explore the world, defeat 6 different major bosses and collect their respective fragments to be able to fight the final boss. On your way you will meet a whole lot of NPCs that give you different quests and always reward you with a pixel art scene. Every time you meet a certain requirement for quest completions, you can go back to your master and let your healing potions and wand be upgraded by her. Which is, by the way, an absolute necessity because enemies hit really f***ing hard and can send you back to your last save point in the matter of like 3 seconds. I know difficulty is a tough thing to get right, especially if your audience contains a pantheon of Hollow Nest beaters and one-handed game journalists. But to me, the difficulty is at its peak at the beginning of the game and flattens throughout it. I can see that there were attempts to counteract that by giving attacks massive damage boosts, but letting an attack with anticipation frames do a quarter of the damage of a piece of cheese just feels very artificial. The other thing I really want to talk about is the map, an integral part of every Metroidvania. And at least at the current state of the game, there is a seemingly minor flaw that isn't actually minor. The map does tell you about save points, teleporters, and since the new patch, NPCs as well. But a lot of maps need to be entered from different points to be cleared without an indicator of what entries you already went through, and that makes it kinda hard to revisit those maps for the collectibles you missed. I already addressed those issues to the publisher and they're working on patches that will fix it, but as of right now, using the filled out maps by the community is an absolute blessing. Okay, so now you might be under the impression that I don't like this game at all, which couldn't be further from the truth. It's just that FlipWitch actually allows me to compare it to safe for work games because it can hold up to those standards. This game is one of the absolute best platformer H games out there, and let me tell you why. Visually, this game is a 10 out of 10 for me. All the environments are completely distinguishable from each other, from the gloomy underground city to the colorful clouds in the sky castle. Character animations look amazing, independent if they are enemies, NPCs or even the main character, who by the way has 18 different costumes that all had to be animated as well. The game has 41 different animations for gacha mechanics, 40 animations as a reward for completing quests and something around 12 game over scenes. Even the wand upgrade makes your attack look different, and don't even get me started on the bosses who have by far the best design I've seen in some time. Gameplay wise, FlipWitch also keeps me on my good side. Hits feel very impactful, moving around feels very responsive and overall works really well, with some exceptions.
When climbing a ladder, use both your hands and feet at the same time.
The bosses and sub-bosses that I didn't mention yet also have some very special mechanics that require you to make full use of your spell reservoir and sex change mechanic that will change the way you interact with different types of blocks or even attacks from the enemy. So now we talked about the gameplay and visuals, but what is still missing is the absolute banger of a soundtrack. FlipWitch is another massive step in the direction of having H games not only marketed as fapping material, but actual great games that are worth playing. I mean, we talked about the love and care that has been put into this project, but even apart from that, they're going the extra mile. From putting out quality of life patches, having the game translated into 7 different languages, including Russian and German, to having the whole soundtrack available on Spotify. This is the commitment I want to see, and it is very much appreciated. So if you want my opinion on if you should buy it, hell yeah. Games like this should always be celebrated and supported. So go out there and do your part. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to leave a like or a comment. And if you didn't subscribe yet, feel free to do so as well. I hope you kind of like those smaller videos that I used to do as well, because I feel like this is definitely easier to fill in the void and not only do like an upload once a year that is like 40 minutes long, because this is just so hard to handle and it's also so exhausting. So this is definitely more of a project I'm actually having fun with instead of smashing my head against my PC screen for like 100 or 150 hours. So yeah, that's it. Bye.